Hey, how's it going, everybody? JT here for the last time on Ethfinance for this day's Doots. We've got this is the last episode of 2024, and it's the last episode that is going to be hosted from our Ethfinance community on Reddit. I'm so happy to hear that things have gone pretty smooth. We've had quite a few people transition over to the Ethereum main subreddit daily thread. That's where the action is going to be from now on. We're working on a POAP currently. I've already got all the artwork done. We're trying to figure out like a method of distribution that makes sense. And so I guess the only thing I could say is make sure you're contributing to the daily, be visible over the next week or two, and we'll figure out how to distribute the POAP. And we're actually going to do something kind of cool, I think. In the spirit of what the Mavericks like to do is, we're going to try to do something for public goods. It's not very easy for us to distribute a POAP versus direct messages or anything like that. So we're going to come up with a method. It's kind of novel and interesting. We'll have the artwork, and it'll be like something like $1 or $2 or something like that. But I think what we're going to try to do is vote, do a round of voting where people can decide on what project they want to send the proceeds to. And then we would do another round to actually vote on the final winner. So it'll be our own little way of doing a public goods thing, at the same time getting recognition for the migration, the merge, if you will, make Ethereum Reddit genuinely excellent merge. All right. So it's been great. And all of it was a lot of positivity in the moderator Telegram channel that we've been talking in. So it's time. We've had a lot of fun getting to know each other and coming up with ideas that are unique and working together to help make the Ethereum main subreddit everything it should be and more. And we're just super happy. And I hope you guys are feeling good this holiday season. There's a lot to be worried about in the future of the world and blah, blah, blah. But all in all, we're just one ship post away from a good day, aren't we? That's why I love Reddit so much. Well, here we go. This is it. The Weekly Doots live stream is all about showcasing the best of the week from the Ethfinance community on Reddit. We're heading to our Ethereum. It's a read-along reaction series if you want to follow along. Actually, dailydoots.com is not updated today, but Hani Abu did send me the local file, so I'm running a local version of this. And if you want to watch my stream on Discord, this will be the way you can see the way that you can see the Doots as we go along. So if you're on YouTube, just watch the screen. I'll make sure that I pull up the relevant information. So big thanks to Hani Abu for coming up with this. There was some issues with getting something authenticated, something about squirrels not getting enough feed corn up in the satellites at Starlink to update the website. I don't know, but he gave me a local file, so we'll go with that. Also, big thanks to Tricky Troll for capturing and curating each of the day's Doots and the A word for curating this beloved weekly list. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple and iTunes. Just search Ethfinance EV Mavericks. Also available on Libsyn, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll have that in the description of the video. You can also mint this episode if you would like it, pods.media/EV Mavericks. If you're watching my stream on YouTube, make sure that you mute that window to avoid any echoes. And as always, if you know anybody that wants a little piece of this action, go ahead and send them my way. Before we get to the Doots, I need to shout out, we do have some guests coming up. If you guys could tune in, this is going to be amazing. January 3rd, Brian Smokovich, he's a fellow moderator on Ethereum, and he has this huge project, Pistachio Fi. So it's so cool. We're going to learn all about that. January 17th, Kate Lawrence from Block Accelerate. January 24th, this is new, just announced. we've got DeFi Dad joining us. I'm excited to talk to DeFi Dad. He's an OG ETH trader, our Ethereum guy from way back, and he's got the Edge podcast, and he's such a wealth of knowledge. I cannot wait to pick his brain. So that's on January 24th. January 31st, the big dog, Justin Drake on Beam Chain, going to be joining us. We have an unconfirmed January 10th with Anthony Sassano. So we've I lined up these 4 guests, and if you know of anybody that wants to jump in on February, let me know. I've already got one guy in the works. He's a certified financial planner. He's no stranger to the show. He was on last year, early in the year. Adam Bloomberg. Adam Bloomberg's a really sweet guy. He knows a lot about certified financial planning, both from the real world TradFi as well as DeFi stuff. So I'm going to be really interested with all of the ETF stuff that's come down the pike, what his thoughts are moving forward under a new administration that looks to be possibly crypto friendly. He'll be able to shed some light on that and be able to talk maybe a little bit of policy stuff, not politics. All right, well, here we go. It is time to zoom up to the top here. Get onto our rich list of this week. Again, dailydoots.com is not updated, so I have to stream this so you can see what's going on. Hanny Abu's at 101, Set One Less at 104, Crypto About Currency at 108, Ethical Trade at 109, at 111, 696 ETH, Tricky Troll at 135, Harog at 140, Benito 2030 at 156. Logri the Bard going up another notch to 158, and Super Fizz at the top of the heap, as always, at 218. Hats off to you guys. Great job in the top 10 rich list. And here we go. The morning roundup. Smart Ocelot 5759. There's a new name. Says ETH. Elixir Knight chimes in and Space Hider says Frank the Tank says 3, Hitchcock says 3, Timbuk 9 says 6, and Hanny Abu says K. Epic Trader says future dollars. This is like one big massive shit post this morning roundup. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Weekly Haiku JS Tears. Christmas is merry. Blockchain goes well with cherry. Speculate fairy. How does he do it? JS Tears. How do you do it? Clam Chota says it's Chota time. ETH. Take my energy. And our ship post of the week from user Turbojet Mega Christ says, I've done some technical analysis, lots of it in triangles you probably wouldn't understand, and I'm pretty sure this USDT coin is going to moon pretty soon. Its competition has been remarkably close in performance, but we're coming up on a major divergence. I can feel it. Well done, Turbojet Mega Christ. All right, moving on down the list here. User Professor Strangelove investigates whether or not MSTR is a pseudo Ponzi scheme, and user Dr. ETH also shares his thoughts. Let's look at this on Reddit. I want to see where they're at on the charts. Professor Strangelove is a duder number 9. Communist Mini Pesto is a duder number 4, and it looks like Dr. ETH, here we go, duder number 38. There's a massive number there by his name. Professor Strangelove. So yesterday, I had some questions regarding MicroStrategy. Since I wanted to understand better what they are doing, I looked a bit further into it. Anyways, like was suspected yesterday, they are raising money through convertible bonds. So if they can't pay back the bond, they issue new stocks to cover the debt. As far as I understand, the stock price at which the bond converts is set at the beginning of the loan. Jesus. There are also funds that specialize in convertible bonds. Normally, they buy those bonds and short the stock as a hedge. So if the company goes belly up, they still get some of its equity for the shares they hold, but also have made money on the short. There's a video by Martin Shkreli. Yeah, I know, not a big fan, but whatever, where he goes over MSTR's or Master's valuation. And there's a timestamp at, looks like 490 seconds on the YouTube. Anyways, Scarelli more or less also comes to the conclusion that this seems like a Ponzi-like scheme. Also, the amount of additional money Saylor would need to raise in the future might become a problem because the convertible bond market isn't that huge. MicroStrategy is still doing some shitty, air quote, advertising, calling what they are doing, quote, smart leverage, which is pretty much BS. Here's another video which goes into why Saylor's strategy is pretty much like a pyramid scheme. And here's an edit. Oh, and another takeaway by Scarelli was the same as I had yesterday. Long Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy, should be free money if done at the right ratio. And one would need to delta hedge as the price moves. Anyways, I won't be doing that and just stick to holding ETH. Dr. ETH responds, from a functional perspective, it has most of the relative characteristics of a Ponzi scheme, but there are indeed assets backing master stock. The valuation is about 30 to 40% the price of BTC, and the rest is the expectation that Saylor can continue to do this, plus the negligible other businesses that Master has. My MicroStrategy has. My perspective here is that it's pretty simple. There is demand to obtain exposure to BTC through MicroStrategy, and this is the exclusively relevant bit that could justify this premium. Maybe, I don't know, those individuals or entities traditionally couldn't hold BTC in their balance sheet, so they instead opted to gain exposure to BTC through MicroStrategy stock. On a Ponzi scheme, more and more assets are required to keep it going. In the case of Saylor, this structured trade has been ongoing for quite a long time. MicroStrategy has held BTC through bear periods in deep loss. For the trade to survive, no more assets were required through the bear without needing to be unwound. Is Saylor deceiving his investors and creditors? Probably. We can assume that there potentially exists some information asymmetry between what we know and what his creditors think they know. However, as long as the price of BTC holds up and MicroStrategy isn't much more leveraged than 3x, assuming the rest of the business is worthless, there's a low risk for this trade to unwind, especially considering that until the bonds expire, we probably have very little to worry about. Monitoring the valuation of this stock should be extremely important for us to determine how much risk Saylor is undertaking. In my opinion, the biggest concern to me is that it's not just MicroStrategy doing this anymore. Other BTC-related companies have followed MicroStrategy's path and taken on similar debt to do the same thing, and their stocks have soared. My guess is that the market perceives the sort of purchase of BTC with debt as low risk, and therefore considers that when the companies take that risk, they're probably going to be doing well in the long run because BTC is expected to continue to go up. The real mystery to me is what will happen if there is some kind of a big flash crash. I'm inserting my opinion here. I am interested in that scenario, like a flash crash scenario. Okay, it goes on. Saylor has kept the price high by continuing to make enormous purchases. Therefore, we could question if demand for BTC artificially inflated by this, or if there really is demand to continue to hold up the price of BTC, irrespective of the fact that Saylor will continue to buy. I don't know. I also fully expect big short sellers to mount shorts on both BTC and MicroStrategy to intentionally drive MicroStrategy underwater. Bingo. Right now, MicroStrategy is well in profit because their cost basis is 50 to 60K. What a reply. Absolutely brilliant. And if there's anybody on Discord here, I'm glad you've all tuned in. If you guys have anything you want to add, simply unmute and start talking. We want to hear your side. All right. Ethical Trade looks at what is happening while retail sells. Sony is building a roll-up while retail sells. Oh, this is a good point. Deutsche Bank is building a roll-up while retail sells. Kraken is launching a roll-up while retail sells. BlackRock while retail sells. Robinhood, staked ETH ETFs are coming. Visa builds on Ethereum while retail sells. PayPal builds on Ethereum. Ethereum dominates on all relevant metrics while retail sells. But ETFs see the biggest inflows they ever have. The U.S. president is buying ETH. If you think Ethereum a game is over, please reconsider. This is not a good time to sell your ETH to institutions. Here. That's Ethical Trade Deuter 109. Yeah, it's so puzzling, man. Like, it is so puzzling. But at the same time, where we were and where we are, like, yeah, it's taking longer. But why is it taking longer? And I have to feel, I don't know. My tinfoil hat is just saying, hey, there's pressure to keep the price down as long as possible. I guess at some point the supply liquidity is going to shift, and then I feel like the FOMO, the people that bitterly sold over the last 2 years being impatient, or 3 years. I mean, if they didn't like it at 2,000, they're going to love it at 5,000. I've seen this happen at least once before. I feel like it was just like I remember it was years ago. It was a time when I feel like $42 was this weird cap. It was just this it just felt like this artificial thing where there was a whale that was just always popping up, and it just kept pushing the price. This is post Dow hack, I believe. I don't have a chart in front of me. Maybe somebody could chime in the chat on the Discord here. But it's just that we have these times where it's like Bitcoin runs, Ethereum doesn't. Although, with the MicroStrategy stuff going on, if there's a shit show of shenanigans, I think it's going to make FTX look like a walk in the park if that goes belly up. Because, man, that core premise with Bitcoin is such a heavy, heavy narrative on the entire space. But, if ETH doesn't get the same narrative as a store of value, then maybe we don't want to be tethered to that crap. We could take our losses with Bitcoin. I don't know. I just baffled that Bitcoin as much energy as it consumes and wastes, all that computational. I was thinking about this. It's so weird. I was thinking about this laying in bed going, it's just puzzling to me. Like, over the years, when you see these just factories of these machines doing this one thing, and it's like, that's the best we could come up with as a society, for a cryptocurrency. Is maybe it starts with that, but the fact it's still part of the narrative now is like underwhelming. I'm also an ETH maxi, I guess, so don't listen to me. The right play would have been to hold both, but I just can't in good conscience, I don't even really consider myself a huge environmentalist, but man, this just does not make sense. This just does not. It's just way too wasteful for what it provides. I just feel like we can do it with ETH. So let it go. Let's move on. It's time to grow up and embrace a cryptocurrency that can satisfy all the boxes. At least majority of them. Okay, enough of that. Moving on. User AUS Gear Oscar 1 just discovered how easy ETHDocker makes running a validator. Big shout out to ethdocker.com. Let's go look at it. Also, Oscar 1 is a Deuter number 3 relative newcomer with some banger stuff. ethdocker.com, high level overview. It aims to make running an Ethereum staking full node simpler than setting everything up manually, while allowing the user choice when it comes to the exact client mix they wish to run. It's the easy button for home stakers with full control for advanced users. So it even tells you what you need. 32 gigs of RAM, 4 CPU cores, and a 4 terabyte mainstream SSD, TLC and DRAM. Okay, there you go. It's got all the stuff, the acknowledgements, Linux guides, Summer ESAT. Yeah, so that's a familiar name. Very cool. Let's go back to what they wrote. Oscar one, big shout out to Docker and the team that put this together. My NVMe recently died while switching to RETH from Neithermind based on the current diversity stats. And I decided to try this out instead of the completely manual setup I had before. It's unbelievable how much easier this is and how good the docs are. Running a node is as simple as installing Linux and running the ETH Docker script, then going through the config screens. Superfizz would be so proud of that. Hey, hello to everybody on YouTube. Thanks for joining in. If you got any comments, drop them in the chat. If you have any questions or anything you want to add, I'll read them out and we'll go from there. User Spontaneous Dream is dreaming about the next market hybrid. Ooh, let's see here. So Deuter number 24. Very good. Oh, I lost my page here. Okay. Mods, if this is too far off topic, please remove. Well, that was sweet of you. I don't think it is, given the direction of ties to ETH and crypto as a whole. I am bullish AF on, in my opinion, the soon-to-be world's next major stock crypto hybrid. It's none other than coin, $coin. That would be, I believe that's the stocker symbol for Coinbase. In 2025, Coinbase will utilize its L2 base to either tokenize its stock for more exposure to liquidity, more inflows. Imagine using BTC or ETH to buy a truly tokenized version of coin directly, or Coinbase could use Base to provide dividends to coin holders. Oh man, that's a mind blow. Possibly in the form of some scheduled airdrop. Number 2, Coin will enter S&P next year, which guarantees many millions in inflows and also gives crypto exposure to virtually all investors. Bitwise has made this prediction as well in their recent report. And number 3, Coinbase has been doing an insane amount of volume. And let's look. See the overview here. The highlights are racking up. 185 billion in quarterly volume traded, 273 billion safeguarded assets, 3,600 employees. Holy crap. 3,600. I didn't know they had that many. That's impressive. Personally, I think it's a great beta play to BTC, ETH, and crypto as a whole. I think the market is totally undervaluing the impact of Base on Coinbase revenues, and more importantly, opportunities as a company. There are so many ways they can utilize their L2 to drive growth and earnings for the company, and that goes straight back to coin holders. Yes, Base stats are still small compared to Coinbase as a whole company, but Base's stats have been going way up this year, and most recently, TVL, total value locked transactions, developers, volume, commits, etc. The full stats are here for Base, and there's a link. Let's open it up. There you go. Looks like the beginning of the Himalayas right there. 4 billion USD is this line. It looks like across here. Fantastic. I'm going low leverage to slowly continue building my position with ETH as the collateral. Let's effing go. Good luck on the trade, Spontaneous Dream. Amazing post. Thanks for sharing. And thank you to the A-Word for putting that on to this weekly's Doots. Moving on down to Harog reviews the Trezor Safe 3. Harog is a Deuter 140. He's a top 10er. We knew that going into this. When Harog writes, and it's just always so good. Okay, a few days ago, I mentioned that I just bought a Trezor Safe 3 to transition away from my dying Ledger Nano S. Very good. Let's see here. A few people were interested in my first impression, so here they are. The TLDR, the Trezor Safe 3, is a great replacement for my Ledger Nano S. I went with Trezor because I am an open source maxi, and now that the newer Trezor Safe 3 and Safe 5 also use a secure element chip, there's nothing stopping me going there. Trezor has been in the space for a very long time, so I assume they know what they're doing. As I was not sure how well it would work with my laptop, I went with the cheaper option, the Trezor Trezor Safe 3 instead of the more expensive 5. Security-wise, they are pretty much the same, but the 5 has a touchscreen. Just make sure to not get a Trezor 1 or Model T, as they do not have a secure element chip, which makes them more vulnerable to attacks. There is also no Trezor with Bluetooth, so if you depended on that, Trezor is probably not for you. The 3 has pretty much a similar feel like the Ledger Nano S, pretty minimal design, and the screen is a monochrome screen. One difference is that you can operate the Trezor with one hand only. There is also the equivalent of Ledger Live, which is called Trezor Suite. I do not think Trezor Suite is particularly useful, though. I prefer to do my stuff in third-party wallets. Similar setup is similar to setting up a ledger. You could choose a PIN, passphrase, etc. I tested my wallets with Frame, Rabby, and MetaMask. One important thing is that the Trezor Suite has to run even though you only want to connect to a browser wallet. In Frame SH, I can only find my Ledger Legacy wallets and the first one in the Ledger Live derivation path. All the other ones in this path cannot be accessed. Same with MetaMask. This is a consequence of Ledger not using the standard derivation paths. Rabby easily finds all my wallets, and I can use them perfectly. If you confirm a transaction in Rabby, an additional window pops up, which connects to the Trezor, and through which the transaction is confirmed. It works, but it's a bit ugly. The Trezor itself is relatively simple. There are no settings to configure the device itself, no apps you have to upload and choose. The screen is slightly more informative than on the Ledger Nano S, and you can actually see what you are signing. Security-wise, this is so much better than the blind signing on the Ledger. Here. Your device gets wiped if you input the PIN wrongly 16 times, which is much more often than on the Ledger, which wipes itself after 3 wrong PIN inputs. So if you're paranoid about this, make the PIN 1 digit longer on the Trezor. A big difference is how passphrases are handled. On the Ledger, you input them on the device and set a PIN to access it. On the Trezor, you have to input the passphrase on the computer using the Trezor every time you open it. This could be annoying, or if you're on the paranoid side, it could be an absolute showstopper because a keylogger could read your passphrase. It is a very different philosophy compared to the Ledger. In my view, both have pros and cons. Essentially, for both of them, is that there is no indication if you used a passphrase on your device or not. Plausible deniability for both. Overall, the Trezor 3 is a perfect replacement for my slowly dying Ledger Nano S, and I'm very happy with it. I will probably get a Trezor Safe 5 as well, as the touchscreen makes the inputting the PIN much easier. Great write-up. Thank you so much, Harog, for the review of the Trezor Safe 3. I speak on behalf of myself and no one else when I say, screw Ledger. I would never buy their products again in a million years. There, I said it. All right, thanks. Just the data breach and the whole fallout from that was just simply unforgivable. I think Ledger Live is a data grab. It's just junk. That's all I got to say. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Back to the Doots. Aiden Cairo drops the daily DevCon 23 unified Ethereum versus L2 ecosystem competition. Can we have both? Let's see. It's called Can We Have Both? Tuesday, listen along summary. Okay. The unified experience across all chains. This requires a common interface, fast and seamless inter-chain execution, and a focus on user security. The competition from other chains like Solana is driving innovation within the Ethereum ecosystem. While there is a risk of decentralization with federations like the Superchain, it is crucial to stay decentralized and open source to avoid repeating the mistakes of the centralized web. Vitalik emphasizes the importance of keeping up with advancements in centralized systems and staying competitive in the evolving landscape. Ultimately, the goal is to build a decentralized, competitive, and innovative ecosystem that adapts to the changing technological landscape while preserving decentralization and security. Discussion questions. How can Ethereum balance the need for innovation and competitiveness with the principles of decentralization and open source development in a rapidly evolving blockchain landscape? In what ways can Ethereum ensure a unified user experience and seamless interchain execution while maintaining a strong focus on user security and decentralization in the face of competition like Solana? Your mission is to consume the content and blah, blah, blah. This is a grand idea from Superfizz, and it's going well. Thank you, A-Word, for adding this to the Weekly Doots. So it's the unified Ethereum versus L2 ecosystem competition. Can we have both? All right. User Unthinkable Crypto reflects on their time here in Ethfinance. Oh, let's see. This is a duder number 6, 55 upvotes. I made my first comment in Ethfinance just over 4 years ago, December 15, 2020. Wow. ETH was around $580 and was about to start one of the biggest ETH runs I have ever seen. By May 11th, 2021, price would be $4,182. That's a 7.2x in 147 days. So doubling. Oh, God, I remember that. Doubling roughly every 20 days. Ethfinance is where we celebrated all along the way after the long bear market. 2018, 19, and 20 were long years. I was a lurker back then. I don't have many real friends in person that I could talk crypto with. Let me back up. I don't have many friends in person that I could talk crypto with. So through the highs and lows of the last 4 years, I turned to Ethfinance. It's bittersweet to see the daily going away. It's been such a big part of my life over the last 4 years, but at the same time, I'm ecstatic to see our Ethereum turn around and become a quality place for Ethereum discussion again, where we will likely welcome many more generations of Ethereum bulls and builders, where one door closes, another one opens. Cheers to Ethfinance, and thank you to everyone that has made it such a welcoming place throughout the years. Yeah, I'm going to expand on this. User Unthinkable Crypto. The only thing that's changing is the prefix in your bookmark. If our Ethereum is going to have the daily general discussion, it looks exactly like Ethfinance. Everything about whatever we are in Ethfinance as a community, when we go to our Ethereum, it remains the same. There are no new stipulations whatsoever. The only thing that the moderators on our Ethereum ask is just to keep the technical stuff on the front page and everything else in the daily, which is fine because basically nothing changes for our Ethereum. They want it to be a place to discuss technical stuff, and the daily is where like people can kind of blow off steam now. There's so many. Here's the deal. Here's why we're doing this. We're doing this because people are not there. The ones that find Ethfinance tend to stay in Ethfinance, but they have to get there first. Most people that are cruising on Reddit, they're going to find our Ethereum. It's the native, it's the native asset name for the subreddit. It's got the biggest community. Most of them are obviously dead spam bots, but that's where the people are first coming in. If we can be the first people to open up the school doors in the daily every day, we stand to keep the messaging so much more Ethfinance, and just the quality is going to be what we love about Ethfinance. We're going to hone that in over there. And we're going to have all the same, just everything's going to stay the same. The Doots are going to stay the same. This show's going to stay the same. It's just going to be originating from our Ethereum. And then Ethfinance, we're just going to make it to where it's locked. It's publicly viewable from an archive standpoint. But boy, we have so much to gain. That our Ethereum has so much to gain by having us there, and the people that come in are going to have so much to gain as well. I think we have a real capture opportunity to be the best place to discuss pretty much anything crypto. Obviously, we're going to ask all of our people to stick on that report button, notify the mods however you can if there's an obvious scammer, spammer in there. Gone are the days of our Ethereum having this, free speech absolutism that wrecked erect equality over there, because people are not going to just keep dealing with the same trolls with the downvote button. No, we're removing that shit. If people are going to come in there, they're obviously coming over from other, for lack of a better word, tribes, and you know that their modus operandi is to come in and just stir confusion, FUD, mischief, fuck around and find out. They're gone. We're not doing it. They're just, they know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. We see the coordination. They're gone. There's no free speech on Reddit. And we want to be able to have a good place for people to be mature and talk as if they're in the same room with each other. What makes it work on Ethfinance isn't the moderators. It's the tone and the culture of the people that contribute. And the people that show up every day and put something useful in there. You know, we're trying our best to, you know, help the community know who those people are by duding them and getting them at the top of the page so others can follow their score, and they can put Hani Abu's little GitHub thing on there. So when you go into our Ethereum, if you use that little GitHub tool we have in the description or on the sidebar, you can see these Doot scores. You know you're dealing with somebody other than just a random name on a Reddit account. I mean, when you got people, I didn't even look this week. We have 1,100. This is all you need right here. Look at this. 1,125 people have been duded at least one time. You know how far you have to go down to find people that are in the ones? Let's just find out right here live. There it is. You have to go down to position 622 to find, you know, the people that have only been on at one time. Everybody above that, all the way to 1152, that's like, what is that, 500 accounts or so that have made it on the list more than one time. And, you know, another thing you could do if you're a big time lurker, upvote stuff. You upvote constructive stuff. Show those scores on the daily. You know, when I say updoot the diddly and you know, also throw upvotes on good quality conversation. Doesn't mean you have to agree with comments, but if it's somebody that's got a constructive argument going on, and even if you don't agree with it, go ahead and give them an upvote anyway, because the rational thinking and the back and forth and the process of discussion is so important at maintaining just the healthiness of our Ethereum. You know, we could do it. We got a real opportunity here as we move into this. I call it a new paradigm. You look at that little crypto chart or whatever, and they say, "Oh, it's a new paradigm." It's a new paradigm, man. This is going to be the most different kind of vibe moving forward, where I think crypto is kind of getting its big boy pants on in the TradFi world. It's being acknowledged. It's being respected. The political machine was benefiting from it this last election cycle. It's going to be a major agenda in 2025. The ETFs are flowing. Big companies doing big company things. Like, I don't know. This is like exactly what people were looking at 10 years ago as a hope and a promise for this entire industry. And, you know, ETH is what, not even 10 years old. The idea was born 10 years ago. It went live in 2015, 9 years ago. I don't know. In 2025, it'll be 10 years old. Can you imagine? You know how long it took do you know how long it took for like the United States to get telephones across the nation, or the internet working at the level it does now compared to the way it started? It's like, think about blossoming technology and what impact crypto, especially Ethereum, just in the last 10 years. It's insane. It really took like 3 years just to kind of churn out some of the harder stuff at the beginning. And then 5 years in, or 7 years in, whenever proof of stake came around, it's like, boy, that's a big time deal. It's a totally green product with such financial value at very minimal cost. That's amazing. Okay, well, I'll shut up. Moving on. Last one of the week. User Wolf Parking shares Coinbase's bullish outlook for 2025, then doubles down and reminds us to be wary of where we keep our coins. Wolf Parking's an OG. I recognize that name. Duder number 33. Wolf Parking says Coinbase released their 2025 crypto market outlook. I have to agree that the future looks optimistic from this point of view, and there's a link to that. Stable coins total market cap is at an all-time high of nearly 200 billion and could move much higher. Why? Because we're getting closer to the day when their primary use case will be commerce and capital flows, not trading. Tokenization, here we go. Real-world assets grew by 60% in 2024. Looking ahead, we see real-world assets gaining traction across asset classes, from private credit to commodities and more. ETFs, spot crypto ETFs shattered records for annualized returns in their first year of existence. AUM in the first year of existence, reaching nearly $37 billion. God, that's just this is. I'm zooming out again, man. I remember when the space was, when like it first hit 20 billion total market cap across all crypto. Like it was just a mind blow to see that number. And this is just the spot ETFs of this first year, 37 billion. And potentially regulatory changes such as allowing in-kind creations and redemptions or staking could stoke further demand. Decentralized finance, DeFi share of crypto trading volume nearly doubled this year to 14%. Innovations like on-chain prediction markets are spurring a resurgence of activity. And finally, regulation. January will see the swearing in of the most pro-crypto Congress ever. Stay tuned for clear rules that benefit both the industry and consumers. I'm going to add my own interjection here. These are politicians. They are pro-crypto for now. They're pro-crypto for now. Here we go. Be wary of your choice in crypto exchanges. 2024 is on track to setting new records for the amount of crypto stolen from exploits and hacks. By quarter 3 of 2024, blockchain intelligence firm TRM Labs reported that over 2.2 billion had been stolen in crypto hacks, exceeding the estimated 1.8 billion lost in all of 2023. Here's some of the big ones. Number 1, Japanese DMM exchange lost $308 million. Stolen private keys were a plausible explanation. Number 2, PlayDApp, $290 million. Looks like a private key vulnerability. Indian exchange Wazir X's $235 million successful hacking into an exchange account. And then the Turkish crypto exchange BTC Turk, $54 million. Details are still unclear. That is, according to Decrypt.co, largest crypto exploit hacks of 2024. Public service announcement, trending again this year are hacks from exchanges. Please carefully consider which exchanges you trust. And that is our last dude of the week, our last dude on Ethfinance. And then we will start our new dude season next year, which I think is a week from now. So we've got, I'm going to go back up to our guests that we got coming up. January 3rd, Brian Smokovich from PistachioFi. January 17th, Kate Lawrence from Blockcelerate. January 24th, DeFi Dad. January 31st, Justin Drake on Beamchain. And I'm still to be announced on Anthony Sassano, looking at January 10th. Also not on this list, Adam Bloomberg. He's a certified financial planner. So I'm excited to talk to Adam again. Met him in real life. Sweetheart of a dude. If any of you guys are going to be in ETH Denver, I will see you there. If any of you guys have anybody that you would like to see on the show, send them my way. We are always looking for guests. We like chatting with guests whenever we can, so you don't have to hear me go on and on about the same stuff, which is me being kind of a perma, ETH maxi, ETH bull, and the like. And it looks like, hey, we got some people watching on YouTube. Glad you guys could join in today. Well, stick around after the show on the live stream, because we're going to head over to Discord for another hour of popcorn. It's a fun place to let loose when the parents aren't watching on YouTube. Hi, Mom. On behalf of Ethfinance and our Ethereum and the EV Mavericks, My name is JT. Cheers and big hugs from Kansas City.